We are here for our second kind of live meetup, just to talk more about, how everybody's feeling, next steps. Let's share some struggles, some wins too, what people are doing and how they are feeling. Hopefully we'll have some, normally by now we have some people who are feeling really good. So hopefully we can get some shares on that. Let me see. So, okay. So I think I will start today just talking about what I had for lunch. So I think a lot of people say, it's a 14-day challenge. You're supposed to be eating healthy. What are you doing? And I was saying that I had my son's birthday. And so I went to Boston Pizza and we had everybody there. We had ordered pizza for the kids. And obviously I'm not having the dairy, or I'm not having the cheese or the pepperoni. So I had to do something different. And a lot of times I have people say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when I go out? If I eat out, how am I going to do that? And I normally say nowadays, it's pretty easy. We can do that nowadays. There's a lot of gluten-free options. There's a lot of dairy-free options at restaurants. Boston Pizza has gluten-free pizza. It does have even dairy-free cheese. So you can do stuff like that. But most places also have good alternatives now. So power bowls are a big thing. And at Boston Pizza, they have a power bowl. I added some salmon on my power bowl to get more protein. It had on it beets, it had some wilted greens, it had some roasted red peppers, which were amazing. So it had a whole bunch of veggies as well. I ate half of it that night. And then the next day I came home and I actually had half of it with some more greens. So I'm always notorious for throwing more greens. I always say half my plate should be greens. So I did kind of throw in a whole bunch of extra greens. I get greens from Greens Farm NL. I absolutely love them. They're hydroponic greens that are grown locally here. So literally they cut them on Monday and then they ship them to my house and drop them off. And I get to eat those fresh greens for the rest of the day. For the rest of the week, sorry. And they also have sprouts. So I get to eat a lot of healthy sprouts as well. So that was amazing. So I got it home and then I added a couple more things to it as well. So I added in some sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, added some turmeric. I also added some seaweed. I try to add cilantro or seaweed anytime that I have seafood because these are chelating agents. So they can help chelate some of the mercury that's found in fish. We know nowadays that fish is quite high in mercury. So that is what I added. So it was really good. I added some turmeric too for some spices and cumin, and I absolutely loved it. So I just wanted to shout out and say that, yes, you can still eat out a lot of times and have healthier options. And I know a lot in Michigan, there's actually quite a lot of healthier option restaurants that you can go to. So that's an easy one. They also have something called Freshie, which is here in Newfoundland. That's a great one too, that offers a lot of fresh veggies and fresh nutrients. So I love this. So today I just wanted to kind of, talk about what I've been hearing in the group from some of the chats. So Hallie can't make it today, unfortunately. You can reach out to her if you have any questions, in the Well World app. You have access to us directly. You can just email us or basically text us through that. And if you need something specific for her, you can ask there. But I did want to say, we have had a couple of people asking, and one of the things they were asking about was supplements and what are some of the basic supplements that we recommend. So some of the supplements that I do recommend are basic ones that we talk about are a multivitamin, an omega-3, some fish oils, some vitamin D. And one thing we do talk a lot about as well is there's a protein powder. And protein powders, I think, are really important because a lot of times we don't get enough protein. And protein is a really important food source that we need to get more in our diet. And we don't want to get it just from meats. We want to get it also from non-meat protein sources. There are a couple different protein powders you can get. You can get kind of a meat-based bone broth one, which has a ton of nutrients. Or you can get one that is a plant-based. Normally those are pea proteins. So these are great ones, I think, to add. Doesn't mean you have to add them every day, but if you want to add them into your breakfast smoothie, or if you want to add them, to a lunch, if you're just having something that doesn't have a lot of protein in it, you can have a salad and have your protein shake with it. So those are good ways to kind of add in those extra nutrients. So if you want more information on that, you can always text us or email us, but that's kind of where we normally stand with that. So a lot of people are asking too, what do we do from here? So we're on day 9, and I want to say congratulations. This is really hard to stick to a lot of times. But a lot of times by now, people are feeling fantastic. You're feeling like you have more energy. You're feeling a bit clearer. You're feeling, a bit less puffy. Some people will lose weight just on this, even the 14-day challenges. So I want to say congratulations for sticking to it. And hopefully you're feeling some of these beautiful things. So what I kind of wanted to go over now is what we do now. Like, what do we do after this? People say we're on day 9, 14 is done. And normally what we say is this is kind of a reset. This is a way to think about, how should I be eating? What should I be eating? And, these foods you're having in this program are the foods that we should be eating most times. This should be 80% of our diet. We don't need to change anything. Right now, we're eating exactly the way that our body wants to eat. We're eating for nutrient densities. We're not just eating to, satisfy ourselves, but we're eating to, get the nutrients that we really need. And this is what this diet helps us. It helps us remember, like, getting back to these, I had a couple people saying, oh my gosh, I forgot about this recipe for a while. And these are what these reminders are for. And this is why we love doing these things. So after this, what are we trying to do? We're trying to continue this. If we can continue this, this is exactly what we want to do. We want to stay on this exact path that we're on. We also want to, if you want to continue, we have other meal plans that are specific to different areas. So if you're feeling like you have a lot of GERD, normally a lot of acid reflux, it should have been cleared up or got a lot better while on this 14-day challenge. If you want to move further and have more access to more of these meal plans, if this is working for you, we can offer you, more of these meal plans. So, there's one for gastrointestinal issues. There's one for IBS. There's one for women's hormones, right? There's stress ones as well. So if you feel like you are really liking this and you want some more support, let us know and we can guide you on what you could do from there. What we normally do in practice with patients now, so if we have somebody, normally when they first come in, we do try to clean up their diet a bit and do something similar to this 14-day challenge with them. Really get them started on thinking about the foods they're eating and their choices, and making sure making these good choices, and that these nutrient-dense foods are in their diet. So again, not just about taking things out, but more about getting these nutrient-dense foods in. What we normally say is, if you have a food sensitivity, so if you found that this cleanse really changed things for you, it probably means you were sensitive to maybe gluten or dairy, something that you were eating that now you've taken out. And so if that is the case, we encourage you to take and keep those foods out for a longer period of time, normally 6 to 8 weeks, okay? If it is the case that you had these food sensitivities, you want to work on healing your gut, okay? If you had sensitivities, that means that your gut was leaking, that things weren't working properly. So you want to work on healing this intestinal lining and this whole microbiome and that symbiotic relationship that's going on between these good bacteria and bad bacteria in your intestinal tract. So taking the foods out, like if it was gluten you were sensitive to or dairy, keeping them out for 6 to 8 weeks so there's less insult on the intestinal tract. Then working on healing. We normally use what's called the GI protocol, 4 steps to heal your digestive system. We focus on that so that after that 6 to 8 weeks, you can hopefully add that food back in without the reactions that you normally are getting now. So some people say they get constipated, they get loose bowels, they get migraines, they get pain in joints. These kind of things can start happening. So we want to try to heal the gut, and then we want to try to add these foods back in and hopefully not get those signs and symptoms again. And that's the idea of what we try to do when we heal our digestive system. And we're working with somebody who has maybe some food sensitivities. So I encourage you to, if you are following this and you do feel those changes, that you continue to avoid those foods. We have a whole bunch of information for this GI protocol. We have a whole program even basically to heal your gut that you can work along, or you can work with one of us to help do that. The other thing we normally say, so if there wasn't that big of a difference in those foods, so maybe those foods aren't the worst for you, we still say we encourage you to do more detoxing now. So this is something that isn't talked about a lot and isn't thought about a lot. And I always say it's so much more than diet and exercise alone. We also have to make sure we're getting rid of all the toxins and chemicals that come into our body. And if you don't know how much is coming into our bodies now, it's quite alarming when you start looking into it. So if we think about forever chemicals and PFAs and plastics and herbicides and all kinds of, literally, there are tons of toxins that we are coming in contact with daily. And that's not meant to scare you. That's just a reality of where we live nowadays. And I say we can't live in a bubble. We can't get rid of all of these toxins. We're going to come in contact with them. That's just is part of the environment now. The more studies they're doing, they're showing that we have plastic in every organ that they have studied: our brain, our liver, our kidneys. It's actually in placentas. There's actually over 200 different chemicals found in placentas of newborn babies that are not supposed to be there. 200 in a newborn baby. So I just think it's astronomical. So if we're not paying attention to how to decrease the amount of these in our environment, I think we're really being negligent and we're just putting our head in the sand. So that's part of what we need to look into as well. So after we do a bit of this clean eating, what we try to do is we try to detox. Okay. So now we're trying to basically, I call it an internal shower. So we really want to give the body a bit of a break. Okay. We want to focus on making sure our environment is cleaner. There's less chemicals and toxins coming into our environment. We want to make sure that we are giving our body the nutrients it needs to help it get rid of all of these toxins. We want to make sure we're focusing on liver and kidney support so that we can, these are our organs of elimination that helps our body get rid of these things, including inflammation. And then we also want to make sure that we are supporting things like, digestion and elimination so we can get these things out of our body. So we normally do a detox or a cleanse, not a laxative effect, okay? Not like a master cleanse or a juice cleanse, but literally a scientific, validated cleanse that will help you get these toxins out and support you while you go through it. So we normally do a 14-day or a 21-day detox. Again, we have courses for this. If you feel like you just want to do this on your own, you can do it one-on-one with us if you want to reach out to us for support. Or you can also do this, through that Well World. We can order one of the detox kits. And actually, while you're in the program, you get 10% off. So it's a good time to do that. And then you can start that journey. They're very easy to follow. So most of these detoxes that we use now, we just use, they come in a kit. So it's really easy to understand and follow. It comes with a protein shake that has a ton of nutrients in it. It comes with a herbal support that has that liver and kidney support as well. And then like an instruction brochure that tells you exactly what to do and how to do it. So we really encourage people to do this. This helps again with decreasing the inflammation, giving the body a bit of a reset. So it's just letting the body calm down again so it can start repairing and healing, because that's when we feel really good, when our body isn't overburdened. I normally say if we're not an overflowing cup, because a lot of times we are walking away and we are inflamed and we are puffy and we are not at an optimal range of where we're supposed to be. We're not balanced. And that I call the overflowing cup. And really what we want to do is we want to be an empty vessel. So if we come in contact with some chemicals or toxins or smells or scents, we're not going to be overstimulated by it. If we eat something that we can't handle, we're not going to be overly, symptomatic to these things, that our body can handle these small things. And if it can't, it normally means it's overflowing and we need to empty it. And that's what a detox can really do. So I just wanted to share some of those things with everybody. Again, reach out with any questions or concerns. That's kind of where we would go from here. But I hope that all made sense. And I hope to see you all again at some point for another clean challenge, or we do group detoxes as well a couple times a year. We invite everybody in and we do a nice one of those detoxes together as a group. I always do mine in January, so if you want to join us then. And we normally run one kind of in October as well, which is another time that you could join us. And again, a lot of fun to have the accountability behind it. So I hope that all made sense. And again, reach out with any questions or comments.